Okay, so I know I haven't really uploaded a Mythbusters video in quite a while. Yeah, anyways, so today I'm gonna set a like goal, a like goal I've never set this high before, and I don't plan on us really passing this like goal, but if we do, that would be insane. So you know, let's aim for 50,000 likes. Like I said, that goal is pretty unrealistic, but anyways, if you do have a myth you would like me to test in the next or future episodes, go down in the comments below right now and drop a comment of a unique myth for a pretty good chance to have it featured. And if you can't really think of any myth at the moment, go down and also comment your favorite OG place in Fortnite. Mine's gonna be Anarchy Acres. I missed that place. It's now gone. It's no longer here. Hopefully it'll be back one day. Anyways guys, without further ado, let's begin today's episode. Jumping straight into the first myth. The first myth is, what happens when someone throws an impulse grenade before you land after being shot out of a cannon? Now this is honestly a pretty cool myth, and the outcome was actually very surprising. Firstly, to do this in game, I gave my friend some impulse grenades. I then placed down a cannon, and it took us a couple attempts to get the most perfect timing that we actually could. But after a couple of attempts with me just launching and him either being off or me being off, we finally timed it perfectly to the point where I was still in the cannonball form, and the impulse grenade did actually affect me in a pretty cool way. Right before I land and when the impulse grenade went off, I was actually still spinning and the impulse grenade exploded, which actually surprisingly launched me back extra far, as if I kind of got shot out of a cannon the exact opposite way, and I was still flying in the ball formation. So this was pretty interesting and something I definitely did not expect. Not going to lie, this was actually one of the coolest myths that I've done. This was actually an outcome that I did not expect. I just kind of thought it would kind of like cancel out the whole flying formation, that sort of stuff, but it actually shot me back pretty far. Going into the next myth, the next myth is, if your feet are frozen and you walk on lava, will the ice melt faster than if you were on land? Now, since the two items that actually give you frozen ice feet in the game have currently been vaulted, you really don't need to worry about this unless they do end up getting brought back sometime soon. But anyways, this was pretty fun to test out. When I did test this out, I of course had to use a glitch to get back to the main island in creative mode and still have access to the chiller grenades. That way I could get the ice on my feet. In game though, when I tested it, I first tested it out on land and timed exactly how long it takes me for the ice to kind of melt off of my feet without being on the lava. And of course it was a reasonable time, just nothing too special, just regular. Now I then had to do this in the lava. I first threw down the chiller grenade, and from the blast it launched me straight into the lava, and I of course was kind of bouncing around as if I was just kind of regularly standing there, nothing too special. And with the timer going, it was actually just about the exact same amount of time for the ice cubes to melt as well. I thought this was pretty cool. You would think the ice cubes will melt a little bit faster because of course you have ice and then you're on top of lava, so it's kind of like cold versus like the most extreme hottest substance, but I guess that wasn't the case. Overall though, I thought this was a pretty cool and interesting myth. Now the next myth is, will you be able to reach the bottom of the volcano while flying a plane, or will the wind push it back out? Now there's been some conspiracies about the plane being added into the game once again, and of course I'm not very happy about that, and I'm sure a lot of you guys aren't either. But I mean, if the plane does end up getting added back into the game, we definitely could take some tips from this actual clip right here. That way myself and all of you guys will know if the plane could actually go through the volcano without really being affected. To get planes and all of the creative stuff on the main island, I of course did the same glitch as I did in the previous myth. That way you guys aren't confused at all. I then placed down a plane and flew straight in from the top of the volcano, seeing if the wind would actually push me back out. But to my surprise, the plane just kind of flew straight in as if the wind wasn't even affecting it at all. I was able to fly the plane around as if I was just kind of flying around in the open, but the weird thing is when I did slow the plane down to a complete stop, I landed on top of the lava and it immediately kicked me out as if I was in a golf cart like we saw before. Now when I did fly back down and I did get back into the plane without the engine turning on, the wind was actually affecting me, slowly pushing the plane up and eventually out towards the exit. I thought this was pretty interesting and cool, and at least now we know exactly how the wind deals with the planes in the game. Going into the next myth, the next myth is, if you throw down C4s and someone kills you, then you respawn, will the C4 stay or can you still detonate it? Now sadly, C4s are currently vaulted and are no longer in the actual battle royale itself, only available in creative mode. I do hope to see the C4s back in regular battle royales sometime soon. They were obviously a pretty overpowered item at times, but also pretty terrible at others. Anyways, when I did test this myth out in game, I threw down some C4s. I then had my friend kill me in game, that way I could respawn. I picked up all of the C4 stacks once again, and I tried to press right click to detonate it, and none of them ever detonated. I went through every single stack, and it never went off, sadly. I thought this was pretty weird, so I then threw down one more C4 from each stack and detonated it, and the only single C4 exploded, while the entire stack that I threw previously before I died did not. We then wanted to test one more thing, and that was actually shooting the C4 itself. I then first shot it myself with the shotgun, and of course it didn't explode, so I thought maybe an enemy has to do it, and it still did not explode. I swear they used to explode on bullet impact back in the day when they were in the game, but I guess they have since changed it. Now the next myth is, what happens when you go through a rift while on a zipline? I want to give a massive shout out to Camden FH for sending in this footage, letting me use it over on Twitter. Anyways, when he did do this in game, he got on the zipline and kind of flew straight into the rift itself, and as you can see, for a split second, the magnet that actually holds you up on the zipline teleports onto his head, then disappears several seconds later. This was a pretty quick and interesting myth. Sadly, nothing too special happens. You don't keep your momentum, you don't get shot forward, you just go up in a rift as if nothing really happened, just the magnet is floating above your head. The next myth is, what happens when the two final players die to an enemy trap at the exact same time? Now this myth has been requested by so many of you guys several times. It's always been a top comment whenever anybody really comments it. To do this, I use my custom matchmaking code, and it basically acts as if it's a regular game, just with a less amount of players. So the zone closes in as it is normally in a regular game. It still bounces as if a regular game as well. Everything is the exact same, just the player count is basically smaller, and it's a private lobby. To do this, I had my second account place down the spike trap. We then killed that account. That way, he was the one who kind of was in charge of it, and it would kind of trap both of us at the exact same time, still dealing damage and such. I then baited out the spike trap. That way, we could get in the box and have it kind of go out at the exact same time and possibly deal damage to both of us. Now, me and my friend, we had just about the exact same ping. I had about 29, he had about 26, 27, because we live fairly close to each other, just a mile apart, so that's not really an issue. To our surprise though, the trap is basically a 50-50 chance. I believe it's kind of really off of ping wise, but of course I was a little bit farther away and it still killed me when he was clearly the closer one to the trap. Now we wanted to take this whole idea of joining a game to a whole nother level, so we tested out a few more ideas. We basically built a massive platform, that way we could land at the exact same level of height, and built us up, of course, a very high platform up top. That way we would fall from the exact same distance. We then shot out the entire platform, that way we would fall at the exact same time, and to our surprise, it still is kind of like another 50-50 chance. On his screen, it showed that he was falling way quicker than me, but on my screen, I was falling way quicker than him. I believe all of this revolves around the ping that you have. If you have a higher ping, then you're obviously more likely to lose. We tested this one more time, but this time we fell into the ocean, and of course the same outcome was the exact same. It's still kind of like a 50-50 chance. You can't really draw a game unless you're in creative mode, and you kind of end the match with both of you guys alive. Of course it will show the battle royale, victory royale, but of course it says a draw, so that was a little clickbait. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, make sure to leave a like and also subscribe if you are new to the channel. Make sure to drop a comment down below of a unique myth for me to test in the next or future episodes. And also, if you do want to be featured in a Mythbuster episodes yourself, join my Discord at discord.gg/Nexiv, and I usually send announcements when I do need some help, so you'll have a pretty good chance of being featured if you are active. Make sure to join the Discord and come say what's up to me in the voice chat channels. I'm in there all the time, and I will see you guys next time.